What if I told you that the quietest creature in your neighborhood is carrying the loudest pain in her heart? This is not just a story about a cat. This is a story about a mother who lost everything and decided she would never feel helpless again. Because when a mother loses her child, even the smallest creature can become unstoppable. In a narrow alley behind an old grocery store lived a grey stray cat. Her name, given by the shopkeeper's daughter, was Misty. Misty wasn't aggressive. She wasn't loud. She moved like a shadow. Silent, careful, always alert. And recently, Misty had given birth to 2 tiny kittens. They were small, fragile, barely able to open their eyes. But to Misty, they were her entire world. Every morning, she would leave for a short while, searching for food. Every night, she would curl around her kittens, keeping them warm from the cold wind. She didn't have a house. She didn't have safety. But she had love. And sometimes, love is enough. But not in this alley. Because the alley wasn't empty. It had another ruler. A large, aggressive tomcat named Shadow. Shadow was older, stronger, and known for fighting any cat that entered his territory. He didn't share food. He didn't share space. And he definitely didn't like new kittens around. When Shadow first saw Misty's kittens, he didn't see innocence. He saw competition. And in the animal world, competition is danger. One evening, while Misty was out searching for scraps near the market, Shadow crept toward the hidden corner where the kittens slept. The alley was quiet. No humans. No sounds. Only the faint cries of 2 tiny kittens. Shadow moved closer, his eyes cold, his steps slow. One kitten squirmed. The other made a soft sound. And then, there was silence. When Misty returned, she felt it immediately. Something was wrong. The air felt empty. She rushed to the corner. One kitten was trembling, but alive. The other was gone. No sound, no movement, only a few scattered fur strands. Misty searched everywhere, under boxes, behind trash bins, across rooftops. She called out with desperate cries, but no answer came. That night, Misty didn't sleep. She didn't eat. She didn't even blink. She sat beside her remaining kitten and stared into the darkness, because deep down, she knew who did it, and something inside her changed. The next morning, Misty wasn't the same. Her walk was slower, but her eyes were sharper. She wasn't just surviving anymore. She was planning. She began watching Shadow. From rooftops, from broken windows, from behind crates. She studied his routine. When he hunted, when he slept, where he hid his food, where he felt safe. Days passed. Shadow felt confident. He believed Misty was too weak to challenge him, too scared, too broken. But what Shadow didn't understand was that grief doesn't make a mother weak. It makes her fearless. One afternoon, Shadow returned to his favorite resting spot near the grocery back door. He had stolen a piece of fish from a vendor. He dropped it beside him proudly. But before he could take a bite, something knocked the fish away. Shadow hissed loudly. Misty stood a few feet away, silent, still, her fur raised. Shadow laughed in his own way. He walked toward her confidently. But this time, Misty didn't back away. She attacked first. Fast, precise. Her claws struck his face. Shadow jumped back, surprised. He charged at her. They rolled across the dusty ground, fur flying, hissing echoing. But Misty wasn't fighting blindly. She knew she wasn't stronger, so she fought smarter. She led Shadow toward the narrow fence area, where humans often threw water to clean the floor. The ground was wet, slippery. Shadow lunged again and slipped. For a second, he lost balance. That second was enough. Misty leaped onto his back, claws digging into his shoulders. Shadow screamed. He tried to shake her off, but Misty held on, not with anger, with purpose. She bit his ear hard. Shadow finally broke free and ran, not walking, running. For the first time, Shadow ran from someone. The alley watched silently. Other stray cats peered from rooftops. They had seen Shadow dominate for years. But today, something was different. Misty didn't chase him. She didn't need to. She had sent a message. But revenge wasn't finished. Because Misty didn't want just one victory. She wanted safety for her remaining kitten. So over the next few days, every time Shadow tried to steal food, Misty interrupted him. Every time Shadow approached her corner, Misty stood ready. Slowly, Shadow began avoiding that part of the alley. He hunted elsewhere. He slept on distant rooftops. His confidence was fading. And something unexpected happened. Other cats began sitting closer to Misty, not because she was aggressive, but because she was brave. She had done what no one else dared. She stood up, not for territory, not for dominance, but for love. Weeks passed. Her remaining kitten grew stronger. Its eyes opened fully. It started walking beside her, playing, jumping, living. And every time Misty watched her kitten play, she remembered the one she lost. There was still pain, but there was also peace. Because she knew she had changed the rules of the alley. Shadow never returned to challenge her again. Sometimes he was seen far away, keeping distance. Because even the strongest bully understands one thing: a mother with nothing left to lose is the most dangerous force of all. This wasn't just revenge. It was protection. It wasn't about violence. It was about boundaries. Because sometimes, the world doesn't protect the innocent. Sometimes, you have to become the protector yourself. And Misty did. Not loudly, not dramatically, but effectively. She proved that size doesn't decide strength. Pain does. Love does. And courage does. So next time you see a quiet stray cat sitting in a corner, don't assume she's weak. Don't assume she's harmless. Because behind those calm eyes, there might be a story of survival, a story of loss, and a story of silent revenge. Tell me something. If someone hurt what you loved most, would you stay silent? Or would you fight back? Comment below. Stay silent or fight back, because this wasn't just a cat story. It was a reminder. Love makes you gentle, but loss can make you unstoppable.